Welcome to Table Talk with Toddy, a podcast for millennials where we bring real-life topics on the table for real talk. I am your host, Natasha Toddy Weston, lifestyle entrepreneur and 3 times best-selling author. I'm a sucker for business, branding, and self-development, but I created this space to escape from the worlds we create for ourselves on the daily. Table Talk with Toddy is the epitome of having the girl next door right in your back pocket. So kick back, pour up, and join me each week for real talk, current events, and powerful conversations about life, business, and all that other ish. Welcome to Table Talk with Toddy. Today is Wednesday, March 14th, 2018. I was about to say 2014. But it's totally not 2014. So welcome back. If you are an oldie but a goodie, thank you for coming back. Thank you for hanging out with me again. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate you spending some time with me today. I hope that you enjoy the show. Now, if you are over on iTunes Land or Google Play or wherever you're listening to this audibly, I'm doing something new today. I have a live Facebook audience. So this is something new. So you might hear me periodically throughout today's show engage with them. Right now I have someone here from Somerville, which is actually where I am located. And so I'm live from the Tot Spot, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It has been pure chaos today. Yesterday was Tyler's birthday, and so if you have a toddler and you already know how toddlers feel about their birthdays, it's a lot that goes on, and it's very exhausting. And then so at noon, I had a lunch meeting, and then that lasted a couple of hours, and my plan for today was just to do that, and then to come back home and record. But of course, things don't always go as planned. So I got back here, and Tyler is just kind of in rare form. I think my sister has kind of had enough of him for the day because she was today's babysitter. And so he's kind of just doing his own thing. So as I was getting ready to get on here and record today's episode, everything under the sun that could make noise was making noise. The dogs were barking outside. Tyler was screaming. His phone is dead, so it's not like I could just put that in front of him to keep him quiet. And just everything that was going on was going on. And so I apologize for being a little tardy. I'm normally very prompt, so I hope you guys can forgive me for that. But nonetheless, I'm excited about today's show. This is episode number 36. And if you are new to the podcast, we just recently adopted a new format. And so it's a more laid back show where we talk about what's on our table this week. And we also talk about current events. So that's our Table Talk Roundup. And then I give you a Table Talk takeaway. And so I'm excited about today's show. Let's go ahead and dive in. So quick recap. If you missed last week's show, which by the way, go and catch previous episodes. You can catch up at natashaweston.com/podcast, and you can literally catch up on all of our previous episodes there. Now, I'm going to say this before we actually dive into the show. Doing this podcast every week has been a struggle, but I've been having more fun doing it this way. So I've been able to consistently come on and push out a new episode every week. And then I also think that sometimes we put too much structure on things, and that kind of hinders us from actually producing the things that we want to produce. I actually love this podcast, and so I want to do more episodes. So by me taking off that whole structured format that I had, where I had to have a specific topic and I had to talk about this, and the episode could only be, 20 minutes long, I kind of put barriers on myself. And I think sometimes that is what we do when it comes to birthing things that we're passionate about. So, I like to talk. And you would think after the day I had today, I wouldn't want to record a podcast episode because I feel like I've been talking all day. But again, I always have so much to say, and that is why this podcast is so important to me. And then I hope that you guys are enjoying it. So last week we talked about brand partnerships. We talked about how to deal with unsupportive people. And most importantly, we talked about getting out of our own way. And me doing this live podcast is me getting out of my own way, y'all. Because when I saw the clock hitting 6:30 and I was not live yet, I was like, oh, I'm just not going to be able to do it today because it's too noisy and all of the odds are against me right now. But I had to push through. I had to get out of my own way. And I don't care if only 3 people tune into this episode, I'm going to get it done. Okay, so y'all learn from me. Okay, learn from me. So that's what we talked about last week. Let's talk about what is on my table this week. Well, I had an amazing webinar last week, Dinner with Toddy. I did it on International Women's Day, which was Thursday of last week, and it was simply amazing. It was something that I decided to do at the last minute, literally at the last minute. And we had an amazing turnout. The response has been great. And that was also me getting out of my way again, because I kind of pull back from doing live webinars. So me pushing myself to do that, the results that I got were absolutely phenomenal. So if you were in that webinar, if you watched the replay or if you were there live, then shout out to you. I appreciate you for being there. If you missed it live, you can catch the replay at natashaweston.com/classes. Tyler's birthday was yesterday. He turned 4. And this year we did not do a birthday party. Now, I don't know how many moms out there that listen to my podcast, but having a toddler and planning a birthday party is like planning a conference for 1,000 people. So I decided, after doing a huge birthday party for his first and second birthday and third birthday, I decided I'm not going to do that this year. It was just too darn stressful. And I just didn't want to do it. Not only that, Tyler is not in school. So, I mean, this may sound harsh, but he does not have any friends yet. He really doesn't. So because he's going to school this year in the fall, I figure for his 5th birthday, we can throw a birthday party. But y'all, let me tell y'all, he is the most... Yesterday was kind of like, Tyler Day, because this little boy really thought that it was all about him, and he's still thinking it's all about him. So yesterday we woke up. The plan was to take him to Walmart and let him pick out whatever he wanted, and then go to McDonald's to play, because that's what he wanted to do, and then pick up his cake from Publix, and then come home and, let him play with his toys and things like that. Well, after he got his toys, he decided he does not want to go to McDonald's anymore. And I'm going to tell y'all, Mama was a happy camper. I was so happy that he decided he did not want to go to Walmart. To go to McDonald's again. And so our day was kind of cut short, but he enjoyed his time at home playing with his toys. 4th birthday was a success. Mama was happy. Baby was happy. But let me tell y'all something. It's the next day, and he still thinks it's his birthday. So y'all pray for me, okay? So that, besides the webinar last week, Tyler's birthday yesterday, it's been a lot going on, with obviously in between things. Today I had a meeting at noon, and the meeting really motivated me to really get this episode recorded today for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because I think with so many of us being entrepreneurs and influencers, or whatever it is that you do online, so like in the digital space, sometimes we can become so consumed with just doing things online until we forget about face-to-face interaction. For me today, that was important because it's easy to get tied up behind this computer. It's easy to just be laser focused on what you have going on. But after today's meeting today, and I won't get into details about who I met with and what it was about, but nonetheless, what I learned today was that we have so much value that we are supposed to be out here offering other people. And it does not take you having $1 million. It don't take you having $5 in your bank account to be able to help the next person. And I think in most cases, we get in our way a lot because we feel like because we haven't accomplished certain things, or we feel like because we aren't at the place in life that we want to be in, that we are not valuable to somebody else. And I was sharing with the young lady at lunch today how, at my lowest moments in life are when I feel like I won't say the most valuable, but it's at those moments where I can really give from a really genuine place. So if I'm really going through it and, maybe I post something on Facebook and somebody responds to it and says, oh my God, that helped me. I'm going through such and such and such. When you hear about other people's issues or what they're dealing with, it really kind of slaps you back into reality to say, okay, maybe what I'm going through is not the worst thing, or maybe I'm not doing as bad as the next person. And so, I always tell people, and I try to, keep this true to myself as well, is like, whenever we're going through stuff, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody else. And you may not share it as you're going through it, but once you've jumped over a hurdle, go back and tell somebody else about that hurdle, because you never know how it's going to help them. So that was just kind of one of the things that we talked about at the meeting today. And then another thing is that you'll never know until you put yourself out there. Like, y'all, I'm always exposing myself. Sometimes it's absolutely crazy. I'm always exposing myself. I'm always just jumping out there. Is it easy? Heck no. Sometimes I'm talking myself out of it. I just told y'all, doing this live podcast, I'm comfortable doing it within the confinement of just being in the Tot Spot with nobody in here, with just me talking, just me, my mic, and my computer, and my notepad with my show notes. So for me to be pushing myself out there and doing this live with the hopes and prayers of reaching more people and touching more lives, that's hard to do. So sometimes you just have to jump out there and do it. And it's going to be scary. And a lot of times we use excuses about, well, I don't like Facebook, or I don't like this or that. Those are nothing more than excuses. And in today's Table Talk takeaway, the takeaway for the day is actually going to be something around us. I'm going to kind of pull back from that. But I say all of that to say, it's important to get out there, mingle with other people, push yourself, even when you don't feel like it. And Lord knows, I love to be by myself. There is no better feeling on this earth. I love being by myself. Like, I love it. But when I come back from being around other individuals, they don't necessarily have to be like-minded, but you got to get out there and meet people, build relationships with people, because when you have conversations trigger ideas. So if you went into a meeting, or if you left home empty-minded or struggling to get clarity in whatever area of your life you're struggling for clarity, when you get out there and talk to people and hear about people's issues or hear about people's desires and hear about people's stories, it's going to trigger ideas. And I cannot stress that enough. And so that meeting was really amazing. I came back home a little bit more motivated. I'm not going to lie. I was in a horrible mood. I want to say yesterday evening and most of the morning, I wasn't like, happy toddy, which most of you are familiar with. I wasn't happy toddy. I was very much so grumpy. And we have those days. And so I'm kind of glad that I pushed myself to attend that meeting. And yeah. So that's what's been on my table this week. What's been on your table this week? Let me know if you're joining me live on Facebook. Please let me know in the comments. If you are listening to this on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio, tweet me at Official Toddy. Use the hashtag Table Talk with Toddy and let me know what's been on your table. And remember, if you tweet me what's on your table, you're asking for my advice. Okay? So you will get my opinion. And in return, I love to hear what you guys think about what's going on in my life. So feel free to chime in as well. I have tough skin. At least I like to think I do. So if you want to chime in on something that I say today, please, I invite you to do that as well. The next segment of our show is one of my favorites, but I'm not going to lie. I'm thinking about changing it from my Twitter rant of the week to my Snapchat rant of the week. Because to be honest, I don't use Twitter as much as most people do. I typically just use it to kind of engage when like my shows like 911 and If Loving You Is Wrong, which is coming on tonight, by the way. That's why I have to get this recorded now. I use it to kind of engage with like Black Twitter, because Black Twitter is real lit. So if you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter, because when like award shows and shows come on, that's where we get like the real-time engagement and conversation. So I'm thinking I'm going to change it to Snapchat Rant of the Week. I'm going to put a poll up on Instagram stories. Follow me on Instagram at @OfficialToddy. And I'm going to ask y'all, should I leave it at Twitter Rant of the Week, or should I change it to Snapchat Rant of the Week? Nonetheless, I do have a rant of the week. And I'm going to keep it brief because I already ranted about it on Instagram. And I'm going to try my best to keep this in a nutshell. And this is more so for my entrepreneurs and business owners out there. Whether you have a business, you aspire to have one, or if you're just coming into this whole space, here's a quick memo. And if you want to see the rant, go back and watch the stories. Well, I had a young lady, well, I don't know if she's a young lady, but I had a woman reach out to me early last year, like in January. This is when the Toddy brand, which is no longer in existence anymore, was in existence. I was doing graphic design for clients, things like press kits and speaker sheets and things like that. Well, she had paid me to do a press kit. And in my terms and conditions on my invoice, FYI, if you don't have terms and conditions, get you some. Terms and conditions will save your whole life, people. It will save your whole life. Because it's a lot of people out here in these streets who just want something for nothing, or who will give you a hard time if they don't hold their end of the deal. So it's just a safe way to keep you safe, especially as a business owner. So anyway, I put in the terms and conditions that, once the invoice is paid, I'll need the required information, colors, documents, or whatever the case may be. I'll need that within 24 hours of paid invoice. Well, this woman paid her invoice, and literally, I never received her information, even after reaching out to her multiple times and telling her, I need the information so I could get started on the design. Well, I never heard anything from her. Now, this was in early January 2017. It is March 2018, and I just miraculously get an email basically saying, hey, I'm ready for my press kit. What do we need to do? And I told her, we need to get me paid again, because it's been over a year and 3 months, and the terms and conditions state within 24 hours. So I don't believe she was happy about that, but I ranted about that because, here's the thing, guys. Time is money. And just imagine if you were a business owner and someone bought some fried chicken from you, and your restaurant was hosting a special that said, if you buy one piece of fried chicken this week, you can come in every day for the next week and get a piece of fried chicken every day once you buy that one piece. Well, that was only valid for that week. But you come back the next year and you say, well, I never came back for those other 6 days, and I want my 6 pieces of fried chicken. You're going to look at them like they're crazy. It's the same thing. So I ranted about that because I didn't want to just rant, but I wanted to, really kind of get those of you who may not understand why terms and conditions are terms and conditions. Or if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or if you are an entrepreneur and you've done that to someone, really reconsider how you handle situations like that, because it's just not fair. I digress. I already ranted about that, so I'm not going to rant again. For future rants, follow me on Instagram at @OfficialToddy. This week's Table Talk Roundup, and this is my favorite part because this is where I get to talk about what is going on in the world, things that capture my attention. And then throughout the week, many of you tag me in different posts with things that's going on. Y'all already know, don't tag me in nothing that got to do with Trump, because I'm not talking about politics here. So anything else that you think would be a good topic to talk about on the show, feel free to tag me in it. I get tags all the time, and it gives me ideas for the show. But this week, we're going to be talking about these On the Run Tour 2 tickets. Now, y'all should know Beyonce by now. Why y'all acting brand new? Why y'all acting brand new out here? Why don't y'all already know Beyonce's routine? Don't y'all already know Beyonce's blueprint by now? Well, not the whole thing, because she's good at disguising it. But overall, we should all know how Beyonce and Jay-Z roll. Okay? Beyonce is going to charge. Her tickets are not going to be cheap. So if you are a real Beehive fan or Bayhive fan, y'all don't kill me, then you should know Beyonce is going to have a tour every now and again, especially if you see her out here posting pictures, like 6 of them at a time, consistently for like the last 6 months. Y'all should have known once she had those babies, she was going to go on tour. After the success of On the Run Part 1, why wouldn't she go on tour again? But this is the point. So, of course, anytime Beyonce does something, there's controversy or there's conversation. So I guess the conversation now is how much the tickets are. I haven't gone to look, but I'm just going to assume they're mortgage plus some. But it kills me how people like to count people's pockets. Why do we do that? If you love Beyonce and Jay-Z and you want to go to the On the Run Tour Part 2, then go. Do what works for you. But it does not require a post talking about the people that do want to pay $1,000, $2,000 for a ticket, however much the tickets are. If you can't afford to go, don't go. Save your money for the next tour or go see somebody else. I mean, it's really that simple. Like, I think we exhaust way too much energy on who's doing what, who's buying what. Do what your pockets can handle. That's it. But other than that, I'm excited about, the tour. And, I didn't go to the first one, but I enjoyed the pictures and the Snapchats and things like that. But for those of you who are, just hearing about this for the first time, let me bring you up to speed. This week, Beyonce and Jay-Z announced that they are headlining the On the Run Part 2 tour, which will start in Europe on June 6th this year, with the North American leg running July 25th through October the 2nd. Tickets for the 36-city tour started pre-sale today. So, last year, or whenever the tour was, previously, they did a 19-city tour, and they sold nearly 980,000 tickets, with the average ticket price at the time costing $111.92. So, y'all, Beyonce and Jay-Z, they ain't tripping if you don't come, or if you tripping over somebody that did or can't afford to come. Like, come on. So, anyway, so that's what's going on with that this week. 7 seconds. Oh my God. Y'all. So I'm normally a late bloomer when it comes to catching up on shows. So I already know when my sister is into a show, it must really be good, because her attention span is like less than negative 0.3 seconds. She's going to kill me for saying that. But I've been, seeing posts about it on social media about 7 seconds, but I thought it was like a show that came on TV. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I haven't really, besides 911, which was obviously good from the first episode, I haven't really been like getting too excited about shows after they canceled. What was the show that I really liked with Sanaa Lathan and Mac Wilds? Shots Fired. I was so mad that they canceled that show. So, anyway, I didn't get all excited about it because I was like, I'm just going to get into this show, and then they're not even going to bring it back for a second season. So, anyway, so I finally got into it. Finally got into the show, and y'all, it's such a great show. Like, so many great messages. It made me mad a lot of the times, and I'm not going to lie, I was kind of disappointed in the end. So I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it yet. That's just my opinion. I was slightly disappointed in how it turned out, but that could just be me. So that's, something else that's been, a hot topic this week is the show. So I'm not going to talk about it too much in this episode. Maybe I'll bring it back next week and we could talk about it more in depth, but I enjoyed the show. I don't think they'll make a sequel just based off of how it ended. I don't know if it would make sense to do, not a sequel, a second season. But I did enjoy I think 10 or 11 episodes that were there. The State of Women Summit is back. So if you've been following me for a while, you know the whole story about the White House inviting me to the United State of Women Summit, which was, they had the inaugural summit when the Obamas were in the White House. When I tell y'all, it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was literally one of the best experiences of my life. Long story short, I was nominated as a nominated game changer for gender equality, so basically for women's empowerment and, all of that stuff. And a lot of people nominated me, and so I was one of the chosen ones to attend the inaugural summit. It was so amazing. It was in DC. This was in 2016. And it was absolutely the most phenomenal experience just to be in the room with over 5,000 women from all over the world, to sit right in front of Michelle Obama, President Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Kerry Washington. I mean, some amazing women who are doing amazing things in all different industries. It was definitely inspiring. And so when I got the email last week that the summit is coming back for a second time, this year it's going to be in LA, and it's going to be May 5th through the 6th. So if you're in Los Angeles, I pray that I'm able to go. The tickets are there. I know for the inaugural one, the tickets weren't for sale. You basically had to have been invited. But this year, the tickets are for sale, and I believe you can go to unitedstateofwomen.org and grab your tickets. And the tickets are really affordable. I believe they're like $55. So if you are in the Los Angeles area, or if you can travel to get there, if you are a woman and you are all for change and women evolving and continuing to thrive, it is the place for you to be. They have amazing breakout summits and just the opportunity to connect with women who aren't like you. It is definitely a way to open your mind and expand your network as well. I am still in contact with several of the women who I met and sat with at the summit in 2016. So the United States of Women Summit, May 5th through 6th in Los Angeles, California. UnitedStateOfWomen.org, I believe, is the website. Definitely go and check it out. All right, let's wrap up today's show with our table talk takeaway. You can't create solutions and complaints at the same time. Okay, we kind of talked about this earlier in the show today. So if you are out there and you're complaining about something not working or something not happening, you will not have the mental capability or space to create the solutions that are required to eliminate that complaint. And so complaining is something that is easy to do. Solutions are harder to do. And so that's why naturally we are complainers sometimes. So this week I want to challenge you to make less complaints and create more solutions. Don't wait on opportunities to change the world. Go out there and create them. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for episode 36 of the podcast. Thank you to all of my family out there in Facebook land for tuning in. I might do this more often, but only if you'd like me to. So make sure you let me know on social media at Official Toddy if you enjoyed today's show. Please, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher Radio. And most importantly, rate it. Let me know if it's a 5-star podcast, which I hope you do the 5 stars. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, leave a review. Share this with a friend if you think it'll be beneficial to them. And of course, connect with me on my website at natashaweston.com. Catch up on past episodes, natashaweston.com/podcast. And I will talk to you guys in episode number 37. Thanks for listening to the Table Talk with Toddy podcast. This episode has been brought to you by our sponsor, Tot Spot Productions. Be sure to visit natashaweston.com to join the conversation, read the blog, and discover more content. If you enjoyed today's show, head over to the Apple Podcast or Google Play app and subscribe, rate, and review. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Until next time.